So it was a beautiful Colorado day in Denver, and this was a couple months ago. In Denver, we have the great fortune of having the mountains and the foothills in our backyard. We decided to take our just under 200 students on a hike to kick off the brand new school year. Everything was prepared. After 16 years in education, countless excursions, I knew how to organize these kinds of things. The student lists were created, advisors were assigned to buses, everyone had enough water and granola bars. It was all set until it all fell apart. Somehow we were short a bus, and of the buses that we had, I had assigned the wrong students to the wrong buses with the wrong drivers. Eventually, half an hour later, the bus that we had to order came, and the other two buses were gone. And so we were starting this adventure late and staggered. And as I took my lists and now irrelevant agendas and stuffed them in my backpack, my heart was filled with dread. Designing a brand new school and launching a brand new school is a little bit like this. In our 0 year of DSISD, our design year, we had the great privilege of going from coast to coast and visiting other competency-based schools to borrow and steal ideas, take notes, create checklists, generate flowcharts, create visuals of our vision. Our school design backpack was as full and prepared as we could make it, as we thought it could be. We knew that there would be unanticipated challenges ahead, but we were hopeful and we were ready. So on our hike, our students broke up into 3 different groups. We had the fast group up in front that surely was going to summit. We had our meandering middle group, and then we had our struggling group at the end, which is the group that I was with. And about 10 minutes into the hike, I noticed a couple students who were, they were having to stop every 5 minutes to take a break. And I asked them, "Let me see your backpacks." And I was horrified at the weight of them. And I was even more horrified when I realized that they had brought their Chromebooks with them on the hike. It was at this moment that I started making a notes to self list in my head. Note to self, make sure students know to leave their technology back at school. As I took one of the Chromebooks and put it in my backpack and committed to carrying the other one, again, my heart was kind of filled with dread. About 10 minutes later, another student came to me and he was nauseous and he wanted to go back. And I asked him, "Well, what did you eat for breakfast? We gave you guys breakfast this morning." He said, "Nothing, miss." Note to self, make sure that students know they need to eat before the hike so they have energy. "Well, then why don't you eat the granola bar that your teacher is supposed to give to you?" She didn't give me a granola bar. Note to self, make sure teachers know to give students the granola bars before the hike. So go ahead and dig into your lunch and start eating your sandwich. "I left it on the bus, miss." At this point, I just pulled out my phone and started dictating into the notes app. So our first year of DSISD, the learnings that we experienced were very similar to the learnings on this hike. First, technology can slow you down if you're not careful. When we started DSISD, we had the PLP, which was our learning management system that was going to support students in moving at their own pace. What we didn't anticipate or realize was how steep the learning curve was going to be. So during our first student-led conferences, a lot of our students had failing grades. A lot of students who normally had A's and B's. We did some cause analysis and realized we probably expected students to be too independent too quickly. So our teachers made some quick pivots, and they found the balance between supporting students in being self-directed learners and providing them the supports they need to do that. Second lesson, know what your students are carrying with them. Too often our students are carrying the weight of burdens and challenges in and out of the classroom that can impede their learning. It's important that we know not just these challenges and burdens, but through a whole child approach, it's important that we know students deeply, including their dreams and their goals and their ideas and their interests. The third learning was never make assumptions. Although our hike could have been better had I not assumed that teachers knew to give students the granola bars before the hike and students should not bring their computers with them on the hike. We learned quickly that we shouldn't assume that students come to us with agency. Agency is not something that most students inherently have, but it is something that teachers can foster through providing students a roadmap, a map with all clear routes and destinations and signposts. With this kind of support, students truly can learn how to own their learning and become self-directed learners that we hope they will be. So our hard work and a quick pivots paid off when we got the results of our school performance framework results. We did come out the highest rated district high school in Denver Public Schools. We couldn't have done this had we not been flexible, had a growth mindset, and been willing to iterate along the way. Thank you.